Hello friends, welcome to the 25th session of Hybris tutorial. In this session, we are going to learn about the Hybris user management. We will learn what all type of users we do have in Hybris, what all type of user groups we do have in Hybris. Then we will be learning how to create a new user in Hybris. So we will be learning all these concepts in this video. Guys, if you are working in a production environment or if you are working in a support project, then you will be using this concept very frequently. So if you are working in a production environment, this topic is going to be very informative for you. Guys, before starting anything, I just want to show you how we manage the users in the back office. So I am going to open the back office with the credentials, admin and NIMDA. And guys, I am able to open these cockpits like the back office or the HAC or this training storefront because I have already done the B2C accelerator setup. In case you have not done this accelerator setup, you can watch my video. Link of video is given in the description box as well as over the top right corner in the card section. Right, so you can watch that video and can do the local setup in your system. But for now, I have already done this setup and my server is also up in the debug mode. As you can see, my server is up in the debug mode. If you do not know how to start the server in the debug mode, you can watch my video. The link of video is given in the description box as well as on the top right corner in the card section. So you can watch that video and then can bring your server up in the debug mode. So I am already on the back office and I have already logged in with my credentials, admin and password as Nimda. Over here you can see in the left panel we do have a user section. Over here we maintain all type of users. As you can see, we do have employees, customers and user groups. These are the main components of in our user section, right? So this is how we maintain the users in our system. If I can open the employees section, you can see we do have multiple employees in our system. I have not created these employees, but these employees were created automatically when I did the int initialize because these employee data was already mentioned in the impacts hybris out of box. And so when I did the int initialize, these employees got created automatically. Similarly, we do have multiple customers as well. If I can show you the customers, you can see we do have multiple customers. Over here, some customers are created by Hybris out of box, but some customers are created by us during the creation of multiple videos on multiple topics, right? So we do have employees and customers, then we do have user groups as well, right? So if I can just show you these user groups. So over here guys you can see we do have multiple user groups. We do have an admin group. Similarly we do have CS agent group. Similarly we do have another type of important groups as well, right? We do have employee promotion group. Similarly we do have multiple groups. But I hope now you understand where we can check the user groups in Hybris, right? Don't worry if you still don't understand where we use this user group concept that I will be explaining you in this video only, right? Now, if I can just write, you can see this is the user. Under user, we do have employees, we do have customers, and then we do have user groups, right? So, if I can basically write the components of user management in the user management, we do have customers, right? Then we do have employees, right? Then we do have user groups, right? So these are the main components of user management, right? Now, guys, if I can just show you these users in the code, you will see that we do have a user model class. If I can just show you user model class, you can see this is the user model class. And I have already explained you how we have created this user model class. This user model class was created because we have created a item type into core items.xml. If I can just show you in the core items.xml, this file is Hybris out of box file, but this is the super file which is provided by the Hybris out of box. So you can see over here we have defined this item type code is equal to user, which is basically extending the principal. This principal class is a very important, class. You should take care of this class. But I hope now you understand how this user model class got generated. This model user model class got generated because Hybris has given this mapping out of box item type code is equal to user, and when we did and clean all, after that this user model class got generated. But just take care of this. This user model class is extending the principal model class. Why it is extending this principal model class? Because in the core item.xml we have given this mapping over here that this item type code is equal to user. It will be extending the principal class, right? So you can see this user model class is extending the principal model. So if I can briefly write, firstly, we do have a user, right? And this user will be extending the principal class, right? This user will be extending the principal class. Now, guys, this user can be of two types. Either it can be of customer or it can be of employee type. Don't worry, I will be explaining you these terms as well. What is mean by customer and what is meant by the employee. Right, so these users are or can be of two types, customer and employee. If I just open this customer class, if I just open this customer model, and I hope now you are well aware how this customer model.java class got created, because there must be some mapping into items.xml like we had the mapping for the users in core item.xml. Similarly, we will be having item type code is equal to customer in our core item.xml, and because of that this customer model class got created after we did and clean all. So if I just open this customer model class, you will see that this customer model is extending the user model, right? And this user model was extending this principal model class, right? So this user model was extending this principal model class, right? So it means I can write like this: employee a user can be customer or an employee. This customer will be extending again user model, right? Similarly, this employee will also be extending the user model class, right? And user model will be extending the principal model, right? So this is the hierarchy which we should understand. This is very important because whole user management is based on this linking only, right? And guys, if I can just open this employee model, let me open the employee model. You will see that this is also extending the user model class, right? And I hope you understand how this employee model class got generated, because there must be a corresponding mapping into items.xml file, and you can see this is again extending the user model class, right? So I hope now this structure is clear to you. User can be a customer or user can be a employee, right? And these user is extending the principal model. So I hope now this is clear to you. But still, I have not explained what is customer and what is employee. Why we do have these two different segregations of user in the Hybris. Guys, if I open the storefront, you can see this is the storefront. Over here, we have users which actually do the shopping, which places the order. So those users are basically the customers, right? But if in case there comes some issue on this website, like this website is not working, or I am not able to add some items into the cart page, any type of issue we have, there must be some person who will be managing this website, or who will be basically supporting this website from the backend. So that user is basically the employee user. So I hope now you understand the difference between a customer and employee. Customer is basically a user which is actually doing the shopping on the website, but employee is the user which is basically managing the website from the backend, so that in case any issue comes on the website, that user or that employee will be basically resolving that issue in the backend. Employees can be of multiple types. There are different employees for in the backend with different assigned tasks. Some employees will be basically working dedicatedly on the technical part. They will be having separate type of access for this website. Some employees will be basically dealing with the customer issues. They will be having separate type of access, right? So employees can also be of different types. I will be explaining you the different type of employees in this video only. And guys, similarly, we can have a different type of customers. For example, currently I am on this website, and if I just access this jackets, you can see I am able to access any category page, but still I have not entered my credentials. I have not given my any details to this website. So it means I am accessing this website as an anonymous user, right? So you can see I am able to access any category. I will be able to basically navigate to checkout. It means I will be able to access this website to some extent as an anonymous customer, right? So it means customer can be a anonymous customer as well. Similarly, I can also access this website by doing a registration. In that case, I will become a registered customer, right? So it means a customer can be a registered customer as well. And guys, similarly, we can also place the order as a guest customer. And what is guest customer? Like over here in the category page, I just add item into cart as an anonymous user. And when I just click on the checkout page, or when I just move to the checkout page from the cart page, at that time, if I do the express checkout as a guest customer, I will be able to place the order as a guest customer, right? So it means we can write a customer can be an anonymous customer. A customer can be an anonymous customer. Anonymous customer means I am not giving any details to the website. I have just, I mean, placed a order as an anonymous order, right? Similarly, we can have a guest customer as well. We can have a guest customer as well, and similarly we can have a registered customer, right? So I hope now you understand this. And guys, if you have to create a new customer, like if you have to create a registered customer, I have already explained you in my previous videos how to create a new customer through this storefront, right? So over here you can create a new customer, right? So this is how a new customer is created. There is another way which is generally not followed, but from the back office as well, you can create a new customer. Like I am in the customer section currently, and if I have to create a new customer, I just have to click on this icon. I will be clicking on this icon as you can see. So you can see when I clicked on this icon, this pop-up has appeared. Guys, this is the ID field. This is the very important field, and this is why I had discussed this structure. Like we can have a user as customer and employee, and every user is basically extending the principal class. It means indirectly employee is also extending the principal model, customer is also extending the principal model, and user is also extending the principal model class. But in the principal model, we do have one field which is basically the UID field, and this is the same field as I had shown you in the back office. This is the unique field. So it means either you are an employee or you are a customer. We need to maintain a unique field, which is basically the ID field. This field is unique. It means if a customer has a UID ABC, in that case, even in the employees as well, you cannot create an employee with the UID as ABC because employee and customer both are extending the principal, and in the principal we do have one unique field which is ID field or the UID field, right? So this is the very important. This should be unique field. For example, if I have to create a new customer from the backend, I will be creating a new customer. I will be giving its unique value, which is Hybris Tube back office customer, right? I will be giving this unique value, and customer ID, it is not mandatory. Name, I can write this as a name. And guys, this topic is very important topic because it is must to have a good knowledge about the user management. You will be frequently asked to create multiple type of employees in your daily work in the project. So for that, you should have a good knowledge about the user module in Hybris. Okay, so I will be basically now giving the description values, and I hope you already know why this automatically description value got populated, because we had applied this logic while explaining the video in the interceptors video. But for now, I'm just giving its description as this one, right? And then I will be clicking on the next. Over here, you can define the language. What is the language of the customer? Guys, when you will be working in the actual production environment, there will be the customers from the different locales or from the different countries. For example, there will be the customer from the D underscore D locale, it means from the Germany locale or from the Germany countries. Similarly, we will be having customers from the US, from the India. So there can be different languages for those customers. For now, I will be just selecting the language as English. Similarly, I will be selecting the currency as dollar only, but you can select the currency as per your requirement based on the customer location, right? So I will be clicking on the next, and once I click on the next, you can see automatically a one group is automatically attached to this customer, which is customer group, right? It means this group is automatically attached to the customer. I will be explaining you this group concept in the later part of this video. This is very important concept. After doing this, I will be basically clicking on the done button, and once I click on the done button, you can see automatically a customer has been created. As you can see, a customer has been created, and I can also watch this customer. I can also check the details of this customer. You can see in the general section we do have name, ID, everything we do have, right? We have already associated group as well, right? Similarly, in the address section over here, we can add the address as well with the customer. And guys, as I already told, we can create a customer from the storefront as well. For example, if I can create a customer from the storefront, over there as well, we can add the address into the customer model. If I can just show you, I will just keep this first name and last name as same as the email address. Right, and similarly, I will add the password and then I will click on the register button. So once I click on the register button, you can see now I am a registered user. Why this name is coming like this? Because we had shown this in the interceptor video over there. We had changed the name of any customer on the onload interceptor operation, right? So if I go into the My Account section, in this we do have a address book section. Over here we can add a address for a particular customer. So in this way we can add a address to the customer, right? I hope it is clear to you. Similarly, we can add a password. We do have a password. We do have multiple password management strategies. We have a MD5. These all are different algorithm according to which Hybris will save your password into the DB. For example, if I select the password strategy as MD5 and then if I just save the password something like this, right, like this, and if I just keep this like this only, and if I click on save, right, so you can see I have updated the password. In the payment section, we can add the payment infos as well. Like I can add some card into my customer model. In the order section, whatever the orders placed by this customer, all those orders will appear over here. Similarly, in case there is some tickets opened by this customer with the CS customer service, then those tickets will be reflecting over here, right? So these all are the different type of options when we create a new customer either from the storefront or from the back office. In the admin tab, we do save the details of this customer, like when this customer got created and when this customer got modified. As you can see, this customer got created on 17th of April at 9:03 p.m., right? So all these details can be checked. Like over here, I just changed the password, so all these things can also be checked in the last changes section, right? So now what I will do, as you can see, I had created this customer from the backend, right? So I will be basically showing you that I will be able to log in through through this customer from the storefront as well. If I just sign out this existing customer, right, and if I just log in through its email, you can see this is the customer, right? And if I just log in through this email address, I'm just logging through its email address, and this is the email address which we have basically saved, and this is the password we do have. and as you can see, I am able to log in through this customer. I hope now this is clear to you that we can create a customer either from the storefront, or we do have an option of creating a customer from the backend as well. But normally we prefer to create the customer through storefront as only, because this functionality is used by the customers only. But for the employees, we generally, or we have a only option of creating an employee from the back office only. As I already told, we need employees to manage this application. And as I told, we do have multiple type of employee. Like one employee will be basically managing the operation part, like in case the site is not working, so he will be a technical guy, so he will be basically having most of the right, which is basically the admin group. So he will be having admin rights, right? Similarly, there will be some employees, those will be handling directly with the customers at the customer service. They will be having something like CS agent rights, right? CS agent level 1 or CS agent level 2, something like this. There will be some employees, those will be basically responsible for showing the products on the website. They will be basically enriching the products, like adding the name of the product or adding prices of the product. So those are called as product merchandiser. So we can have a merchandiser employee as well. It means we can have different type of employees, right? So how this is decided, like which employee will be of which type? For that, guys, we have this user group concept, right? So this user group is basically created to segregate a employee or a customer. As I already told, like employee can be an admin employee or an employee which will be basically dealing with the customer service. So if an employee is an admin type of employee, he will be assigned a group like admin group. It means any employee which will be having this group, admin group, that will be basically a admin employee, right? Similarly, as I told, we can have some employees which will be basically working in the customer service. So though for those employees, they will have a separate group which is basically called as, or which is basically named as CS agent group, right? I will be showing you all these type of groups which we have, but I hope now you have a blur idea what is these groups. Basically, based on these groups only, we categorize the employees and customers into different employees or different customers. Firstly, I will show you how these user groups look like. For example, I am currently in the employee section. I will go into employee, and if I just search for the admin, as you already know, we log in through the credential admin and NIMDA into back office. So this is the parent user. As you can see, this is the admin employee. And if I can just show you the group associated with this employee, you can see this employee has all these groups associated. This employee has an admin group. This employee has a back office admin role. This employee has an item locking group. It means same employee is associated with multiple groups, and because of these groups only, he is able to perform different operations, right? Similarly, we can have other groups as well. As you can see, we do have a power tool groups. These groups are basically for different purpose, right? So based on these groups only, we provide a employee a power, like he will be able to do this operation and he will not be able to do this operation. So all these things are decided on these groups only, right? So I hope now this is clear to you. If I can just show you, we do have a group which is basically for the CS customer service. You can see we do have a CS agent group, and similarly we do have a CS agent manager group. It means these two groups are for the customer service. One is for the normal customer service and one is for the manager role in the customer service. So obviously this group will have more rights to perform as comparison to this group, but as comparison to both these groups, this admin group will have more rights, right? So this is the difference. For example, if I have this CS agent group, right, if an employee is associated with the CS agent group, he will not be able to log in into the back office, but he will be able to log in into the cockpit, CS cockpit. So basically all the customer service employees don't use this back office, they basically use this CS cockpit tool. So this cockpit is basically used by the by a CS agent, either a CS agent or a CS agent manager, right? But both CS agent and CS agent manager will not be able to access the back office through their credentials. If they try to log in into the back office through their credentials, they will be getting the message like they don't have privileges to access the back office, right? So, but admin will be able to log in into this cockpit as well. As you can see, I am able to log in into the CS cockpit as well through my credentials. You can see I am able to log in. Right, so once I am into the CS cockpit, for example, CS cockpit can find any customer, he can find any order. Like if I click on orders, I can search for any order, right? Similarly, I have option to find any customer, right? So all these things are only used by CS agent, right, to deal with the customer problems. Like a customer calls to the customer service and say, like my order is still not delivered. So in that case, CS agent will be basically clicking over here, find order, and he will be getting the details like customer name or order ID from the customer, right? And then he will be just opening that order, and then he will be basically checking, okay, what is the current status of this order, right? So this is how a customer service basically deals with the customer, because they do have such type of interface, and from this interface they are able to do, or they are able to perform the multiple operations. Like they can refund order, they do have option to replace order, they do have multiple options, but they don't have all options which can be performed by a admin user, right? For example, if I can show you one employee. For example, if I take this employee CS agent, right, and if I can just show you, like this has only this group, CS agent group. It doesn't have any other admin group, right? If I can just reset its password, I'm just resetting its password so that I can show you that this employee with the group as CS agent group, this will not be able to log in into the back office through his credentials, but he will be able to log in into the into the CS cockpit through his credentials. So I will be just logging it out from here. Existing user. Firstly, I will be showing you like this is CS agent, and then I will just try to enter the password. You can see I have entered into the password, and you can see I am able to log in into the CS cockpit. but I will not be able to log in through this user into the back office as this user has only CS agent group, right? And as I already told, CS agent group doesn't have rights to access the back office, because if I just log out this and if I try to log in into the back office through the CS agent credentials, you will see that I will not be able to log in into the back office. You will see that it is displaying me as wrong credentials. Basically, it is not allowing me to enter into the back office, but I will be able to log in through the admin users, right? So I hope now you understand why we do have different type of groups. We can create our own custom group as well, that I will be showing you in a separate video, how we can create a new user group from the very scratch, how we can assign different roles to that user group, like he can perform this operation and he cannot perform this operation. That I will be basically displaying you in that section or in that video. But for now, I just wanted to understand you that these all are the groups and what is the benefit of using these groups. Similarly, in case I open any customer, a customer will also have one assigned group, which is basically a employee group. As you can see, I just open one sample customer, and you can see with this customer as well, we will be basically assigned one group. You can see customer group is basically assigned to this, right? So I hope now you understand the concept of group, why we have this concept of group. So any user with this group, right, customer group, he will not be able to access any type of cockpit like CS cockpit or back office cockpit. All these configurations are done in Hybris, right? So now there is one more frequent concept, like if you are working in the production environment, you will be basically getting the request to create access for different type of employees. Like if you are in the production team, right, then there will be multiple people who will be working with you, so you have to create the credentials for them into the hybrid system, right? Like some employee will be admin employees, some will be CS agent, so all those requests will be basically coming to you to create the credentials for all those type of employees, right? So one way of creating a new employee is you can create a new employee from here. As you can see, from here as well, you can create a new employee. For example, I can create a new employee like this, Hybris Tube employee, right? I will just give its name same and same description. Once I click on the next, then over here you can either give the language or it is not a necessary field. And you can see once I come over the groups, it is automatically assigned an employee group. I can give other rights as well, like I can give its a right as CS agent group, right? I can give this right to this user, and then I have to click on the done button. Once I click on the done button, you can see automatically employee has been created. Then in the password section, I will give its password, like I will give a password as something like this, right? I can choose the password encoding strategies, like I can use this or I can use this MD5, any strategy I can use, right? Then after that I will click on the save button. Once I click on the save button, I do have now created one employee through the back office, right? So you can see through this as well, I will be able to log in into the CS cockpit, but definitely I will not be able to log in into the back office through this credential, because this has a associated group as CS agent group, right? So this is able to log in into the CS cockpit, but this user will not be able to log in into the back office, right? But guys, in the real environment scenarios, you will be getting the request to create employees access for thousands of employees at a time. You will be getting tickets, or you will be getting the request to create the employee access for say 50 employees at a time. So it is very difficult task to create 50 employees from the back office. So other way to create the employees or mass employees is you can use impacts to create the employee rights for the bulk employees. So I will be basically showing you that impacts, how you can create employees through the impacts. So guys, impacts to create mass employees or bulk employees will look like this. As you can see, this impacts will create the bulk employees as well. You can add multiple lines over here, right? You can add multiple lines like this, right? Like this. So in this way, you can add or create multiple employees at a time. You can just change this, or you can do anything. This is basically a UID password. For the password, I'm using the macro, or you can give the independent passwords over here as well, right? But this is the basic impacts to, I mean, create the multiple employees at a time. If I can just show you by running this impacts, you will be seeing that I will be creating the two employees at a time. So for that, I will be firstly going into the HSC. I will be basically opening the HSC through my credentials, admin, and password as Nimda. Then I will go into console, impacts import. Over here, I will be importing this impacts. I will first validate this. You can see it is getting validated, and then I can import this impacts. It will take some time, but once this impacts is loaded, you will see we will be having two employees with the UID as my training user one, and second employee with UID as my training user two, right? So you can see in the logs this impacts import is successful. Same will be displayed over here as well in some time. But let's try to search from the backend whether we have created these two employees or not. You can see I will just copy the UID. You can see I have just copied the UID, and I will just try to search. You will see that, oh yeah, new employee has been created, right? And this employee is given the admin group. Why admin and employee group both? Because if I just scroll to the right, you can see over here I have given these groups, comma separated groups. I have already discussed this during my impacts video. If you don't know how to create impacts, you can watch my video. Link of video is given in the description box as well as on the top right corner in the card section. But this thing I have already explained. So this is the impacts, guys, to create bulk employees at a time. If you don't want to keep the password same for bulk employees, you can use you can create or give a separate field, or you can give a separate password to each employee over here, right? But this is the impacts to create, bulk employees at a time. You need this impacts, you can ask from me. I will give you the drive link in the video description. I have already uploaded this, impacts over here in the drive. So you can ask, or you can download this impacts from here. The link of this link I will be giving you in the description section of this video, right? So I hope this is clear to you. I just have to clear one more concept. As I already told, like both employees and customers are extending the user, right? Employee model was extending the user model, and we know that user model was extending the principal model, right? Similarly, this user group can also be of different type. As I already shown you, it can be admin group, it can be CS agent group, it can be CS agent manager group. So these groups can be of multiple type, right? If I can just show you this user group, you will see that this user group will also be extending the principal group, right? So principal model. If I can just show you the user group model, you will see that this user group model is also extending the principal group model, and this principal group model is extending the principal model. It means the hierarchy of user group is also something like this. User group is extending the principal group model. So user group model is extending the principal group model, and principal group model is again extending the principal model only. And we know in the principal model we have a UID as a unique parameter, right? So I hope now it is clear to you. Principal model has one tree structure like this. Principal model is being extended by the principal group model, and principal group model is being extended by the user group model. Similarly, principal model is extended by the user model as well, and user model is extended by the customer and employees model as well. So I hope this is clear to you. So guys, I hope now you understand what are the customers, what are employees, how we manage the users in hybrid system, how we create customers from the storefront and from the back office, and how we can create a employee from the back office, and how we can create bulk employees through impacts, right? I hope this video is useful for you, and guys, in case you like this video, do share this with your friends. Thank you for watching. Bye.